new crew, NYC, in Brooklyn, still here.
All right, what up, everybody? It's your girl, Josina Anderson, host of The Crew, and we are back in full effect as we count down to Christmas. For a full show today, we are welcoming in longtime Fox Sports host Marcellus Wiley on the show to talk about everything going down in the NFL, as well as Prince Amukamara, the former Giant and Super Bowl champ, and of course, Omar Kelly from the I Am Athlete pod in the building. But before we get going, always let you know where you can find our pod. Download the Odyssey app on your phone. You can get it right there or wherever you get your podcast. Or if you want to watch it on YouTube, go to thecrewnyc.com. That URL will take you right there. Of course, Morris Chestnut in the building, fresh off of his tour à la jour for the best man. We're going to get to that right now in the Crew Call. All right, well, look who's in the building. Fresh with his Colgate smile, Omar Kelly with the fresh locks and Prince Amukmara. Yes, what you got? What?
How come it can't be Crest? How come it can't be the name? You know what I'm saying? I got the Colgate.
Sorry. Oh, I know you've been using those.
You got to leave it open for some possible endorsement.
Okay.
Don't hate on us now.
Hey, listen. Hey, first of all, before we get to everything about you, let's welcome in Omar Kelly. Thank you for being on the pod this morning.
I'm so happy to be on the pod and so happy. Listen, Morris, that I'm a big fan of that movie. I'm a big fan of that series. The hell from the wood, everything you've done. I grew up on it, so I was so excited to see that new movie.
Thank you, man. Hopefully it won't disappoint. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Prince Amukmara, yes, hype off his Giants beating the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Super Bowl champ, longtime NFL cornerback. What's going on, Prince?
Man, I'm excited. That was a great game. Sunday night, and it's so funny. Omar sounded like me a couple of weeks ago when I saw Morris. Man, I was giving him flowers too, man.
Oh God. Well, first of all, yes, Morris, you do have The Best Man, the final chapters coming up on Peacock December 22nd. You've been doing your tour all around the country. I tried to meet you in Detroit, but I couldn't get there. No hotel rooms.
I know.
Open.
You know,
things were packed to see you in Detroit. Couldn't even get there.
You couldn't get there. Your pilot for your jet wanted to take the day off. I get it. It's okay.
Don't even start.
You got to give your pilot a day off, Josina. You be flying all over the country. You got to give him a day off. It's cool. I understand.
Hey, listen. Anything you want to tell us about The Best Man real quick before we get going?
No, I just appreciate the support of everybody throughout the years, and just hopefully they enjoy these last eight episodes. So.
Okay, well let's.
So it's a series and not a movie?
Yeah, it's a series this time. It's a series for Peacock. It's streaming on Peacock starting December 22nd. So it's not a full-blown movie this time.
I like that though, but why we gotta make it the final chapter though?
I know, right? I know. You gotta talk to our director, man.
What happened to the JoJo chapter? What happened to my part? Why I ain't coming in there smooth?
You weren't available. Everybody was not available.
Whatever.
She want to be a love interest with somebody.
That's right. You can bring in Jason Momoa, and then we could go from there. We going to the crew headlines. Bye. Right, where we're going to get our fresh Monday Night Football reaction, y'all. Green Bay back in effect, beating the Rams led by Baker Mayfield 24-12. Aaron Rodgers said after the game, I said it earlier, I think we can beat anybody. We can lose to anybody as well. But when you win a couple in a row, it starts to give you some confidence. Why are you already laughing, folks? Where is your faith level on Aaron Rodgers getting Green Bay in the playoffs? Morris, go.
I don't know. I'm just looking at this weekend's games. I'm wondering why we're talking about this one. I mean, we can think about we can beat anybody, but we can lose to anybody. That sounds like everybody in the NFL to me. I don't know.
Okay. So Omar Kelly, right now, how you feeling about Aaron Rodgers?
Highly disappointing season. Obviously, I want to see him reclaim his greatness. I don't know if Tom Brady will reclaim his greatness. So Aaron's like the last of a dying breed out there. Interestingly enough, he plays Tua and Tuanon this week on Christmas.
2-9, I like that.
So it's hey, he's the leading vote getter in the NFL for the Pro Bowl. He's got 2-9 behind him. This is going to be a very interesting game because Aaron Rodgers can spoil the Dolphins' playoff hopes. So, they got off to a hot start. They're at 8 wins. They're riding a 3-game losing streak. And here comes Aaron Rodgers trying to play spoiler.
Yes, and Prince Amukamara, Green Bay lost 2 of their 2 of 7 in the last games, rather, was their record, but they won 9 straight in Monday Night Football. So he's always stepping up in prime time. What are your thoughts? Can he do it with the likes of Christian Watson, Randall, Cobb, Lazard, Aaron Jones, and A.J. Dillon?
I mean, I think the saying is like you never want to count Aaron out, but the way these teams are playing, like Detroit looks strong. Minnesota obviously looks strong. And I get what he's saying. Like, they could beat any team, they can lose to any team. I mean, that's just like the any given Sunday phrase.
Right.
But because we saw it this week with Houston almost beating KC, the Bears going down to the wire with the Eagles and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good teams this year, but them making the playoffs, it's just tough. It's a long shot.
Well, they got Miami, Minnesota, 11-3 right now after that amazing comeback against the Colts. In Detroit, as you mentioned, winning 6 of their last 7. But what about Baker Mayfield, Morris? I mean, because you've always had your comments on Baker. He did very well, coming off of the last minute train, beating the Raiders. But against Green Bay in 15-degree weather, he didn't get it done. Was that too much to expect from Baker?
Listen, I think Baker Mayfield is a great underdog story, but I think if you look over the last, 4 or 5 years of his career, I think you'll see that whenever the pressure is not on him to win, or whenever he's not expected to win, he performs pretty well, But when he's expected to win, it doesn't seem like it kind of works out for him. So I'm not surprised what happened with the Raiders. He said he had some of the same signals, some of the same protections that he had when he was in Cleveland. And then, of course, I think the Raiders just kind of overlooked that game. This guy coming in, being there, for 2 days. I think they kind of just let their guard down. They didn't come ready to play, and it caught up with them. But I'm not sure if he's the long-term answer in LA.
Yeah, but Omar, I mean, when you think about all of the coaches that Baker Mayfield has had, are people too hard on him? Morris has had his comments on him over the time, but I mean, you're talking about Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams, Freddie Kitchens, Kevin Stefanski, Matt Rule, Steve Wilkes, and Sean McVay. Are we too hard on Baker? That's a lot of change, Omar.
Listen, Baker's a coach killer right now.
Oh, Lord.
And if you really think about where Baker Mayfield is, and I say this on I Am Athlete, he is an Airbnb quarterback. You could do, you rent him, you go do whatever you want. You just make sure you don't destroy everything, and then you just move on. I'm very interested to see what happens to him after this offseason, because he's definitely going to be an unrestricted free agent. The market's out there. Do people believe in Baker? Do people buy in him? The moxie, the chip on his shoulder, the arrogance, the entitlement. Those are all things that you don't want from your quarterback. And it's followed him wherever he's gone. So, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
But why are you looking like that, Rich? Why are you laughing?
Because that's hilarious. I mean, I can see why Omar has said that for sure. But I think next season there will be a market for Baker. I don't know if he will be a starter because there's a lot of great backup quarterbacks who are shining and has shined this year. Geno, Brock Purdy, and Cooper Rush.
He just started. Are we really on Brock Purdy? He just started.
If we have time to answer this question, I was talking to someone about this question today.
Yeah.
If Brock Purdy wins the Super Bowl and then becomes Super Bowl MVP, he was Mr. Irrelevant this year. Does he hold out? Should he hold out? What do you look like? What?
That's not. He's in the first year of a 4-year deal.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
He can't even renegotiate a contract.
That's right.
I know he can exactly, but what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Does he just hold out? Does he say I'm not coming?
The system is not meant for you. He cannot renegotiate a contract until year 3.
He can't. But what I'm saying is they can still, if they wanted to extend him, they can extend him.
So you forgetting about Jimmy G in San Francisco already?
Listen, they have no one's forgetting about them. All I'm saying is that Jimmy G and Trey Lance are coming off injuries. Well, Jimmy G his isn't as bad, but what I'm saying is this guy. Oh, he asked for a trade.
What?
Like, get me out of here. You don't want to pay me. He's Super Bowl winner and MVP.
Listen,
anyways,
we're talking about hypotheticals and the way the NFL. I cover the league. Josina covers the league.
Yeah.
Know until year 3, you are indentured servant. And I know you were a first round pick and you had a little power and clout and collateral. You know, you had some money.
Yes.
But if you're a draft pick round 3 to 7, you're an indentured servant and you can't even touch that deal till year 3.
Well,
let
listen,
me
go ahead.
Let me just say something real quick because I want to be clear. So I've never had anything against Baker Mayfield. I don't. No, I haven't. I've only. What people don't understand is I just state my opinion of the type of player he was. You know, I've never played football in pros. I've never been in the NFL, but you know, there were certain things that I saw early on that I pointed out. And Josina, you want to label me as a Baker hater? I'm not. But everything what I've said has come to pass. Now, when you compare and contrast him and Purdy, it does feel like, and it was still early. You know, still have to get some tape on the tendencies of Purdy and all of that. Still early, but it does feel like he has a little bit a leadership advantage over Baker. I do feel that Baker was very entitled, and I think that he bought into his own hype because he had the best line in Cleveland, the best run game in Cleveland. They brought in Odell Beckham and had a great tight end. They had Jarvis Landry, 100 yards. Jarvis Landry wake up in the morning, he got 100 receptions. You know, he had all of that. And you know, he overplayed his hand because I think he bought into his hype.
Let me defend Baker a little bit, just a little bit.
Let's say this.
Last year, he played with a separated shoulder. I would never encourage anybody to do that.
He should have sat his butt down. He's the one that told him he was okay.
He hurt his value. And then, you forced the trade to Cleveland because he probably would have been the starter if they never ended up with Deshaun Watson.
Yes.
But and then we would have seen what happens.
Yes.
He's no different than Sam Darnold, where he just wasn't enough for his team and his organization. But then you add on top of that the arrogance and the entitlement and the personality and you know, not getting along with his teammates. You don't have that with Sam Darnold. At least it doesn't seem so. So
Hold on a second, guys. Look, we're in the middle of a great discussion about Baker Mayfield, but I do want to get our guests in here.
I'll save it.
Save your question because we do want to get Marcellus Wiley in here to jump in onto this discussion. So let's go ahead and bring in our guest into the crew crib. All right, what is up, Marcellus?
What it do?
What's going on, Marcellus? How you doing?
Oh, I'm just listening to y'all shred Baker up and boy cat.
Why gotta be all that?
I'm with Morris on this one. Like, we got to separate the act from the actor, and I'm not talking about the man. I'm talking about the baller he's supposed to be, and he's not. So I hold no reservations and pull no punches when it comes to talking about this game. That's how we have to respect it. And Baker Mayfield has fallen short of all expectations, probably drafted too high. So he had absurd expectations. But don't feel bad if you're calling it like you see it, because everybody's seeing it as well.
Well, first of all, let me give you your proper welcome. Marcellus Wiley, longtime Fox Sports host, currently leading the More to It podcast on the Dan Patrick Network and author of Never Shut Up. And, of course, longtime NFL defenseman. We welcome you into the crew. We appreciate you, Marcellus.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, but the one thing I have to say here, but at least the 49ers have a good quarterback problem, because I don't know who you should be going with in 2023 when it comes to Trey Lance, when it comes to Jimmy G, or when it comes to Brock Purdy, who all of a sudden Amukamara is drinking his milk.
Yeah, I mean, look. Y'all better be careful. Y'all better hold y'all horses on this whole they got a great quarterback situation. Because as much as I love Jimmy G, and Shanahan does too, because it seems like he can't win with any other quarterback but Jimmy G consistently. Hey, they haven't gotten over the hump with Jimmy G. They don't know what they have in Trey Lance, and Purdy's only started a couple of games. Exactly. It's one thing to get thrust into the game like, oh, Jimmy G got hurt, my turn. All right. I feel that adrenaline rush, and I'm showing something. Then you wake up next week, you're the starter. That's the next level. Now, the level he hasn't climbed to just yet, but it's coming, is when they have those championship contender expectations, and we're counting on you. Not no more you just filling in for Jimmy G. The keys are yours. Now let's see how you drive this car. So I'm just saying, let's just wait on how great their situation is at quarterback. Because so far, none of those names has gotten them over the hump.
Not only that, but if Prince can chime in on this, I've always heard that it takes about 5 games for a defense to get a book on a quarterback and create a game plan to dissect them.
100%. Well, 100%. And that's what he has going from. No one has actually schemed him. No one has seen the play actions that he likes, his go-to plays. And once they do find out, they will scheme him. Like when I played for Vic Fangio, any type of rookie or beginner quarterback, he is bringing them dogs. He's blitzing every angle. He wants to see how this guy can handle pressure. And so, and just like Marcellus said, that we are going to start seeing that when they start getting into those championship contending games.
All right, hold on. Let's go ahead and move on to these Eagles, Morris. We have to let you get your customary brag time. Your Eagles are 13-1. Marcellus, he is an Eagles fan, even though he's from California and you from Compton. So get on him about that. First and what? Go ahead, Morris.
For the record, I've never bragged on the Eagles. Okay, let's just make it clear. I've never bragged. Listen, it's I'll be the first to admit that I had no idea that the team would be, at the beginning of the season, I had no idea that the team would be where they are right now today.
Yes.
And it's very promising because, as you know, Josina, I wasn't even sure if Jalen Hurts was going to be able to take the next step or not. But clearly I was wrong in that. And I'm glad I was wrong being an Eagles fan. But I think also with the way the defense is playing, that's what I'm impressed with. That defensive line, we shorted up with Linval and Sue.
And Dominic Sue,
And we have Sue, and then we got Big Boy back. And then the line is just, defensive line is just kind of, thus far, we still have a long way to go. And I will say this about the Eagles.
Yes.
I know Hurts may be, he's ailing a little bit. He may not play this week, but we have been somewhat fortunate on the injury front. You have. We have been somewhat fortunate there. But right now, I'm very happy with what they're doing.
Well, look, speaking of that, head coach Nick Sirianni confirmed this morning that Hurts suffered that right throwing shoulder sprain late in the third quarter against Chicago when defensive end Travis Gibson drove him into the ground. The only indication right now, the early indication that Hurts was injured right there and was slow to get up and that he may miss up to 2 games. So the question is, Marcellus, should we be more concerned about the hurtless Eagles or the declining Cowboys? Because the 2 teams play this week. We don't know if Jalen's going to be available. And Dallas struggled against Houston and lost against the Jaguars, 40-34 in overtime.
Yeah, these are 2 different teams in terms of the complexion of how they look at the regular season and their future and their fortunes. If you're the Cowboys, I can see in that locker room where there's times where they struggle for motivation to go out there every single week, 17 weeks in a row, because their expectations are so lofty. It's championship level talent there, so they need to get a championship. Where the Philadelphia Eagles had so many question marks and uncertainty, they mashing the gas, and that's beautiful. But it could be fool's gold. It could be setting you up for failure or a crash and burn when it comes playoff time. I'm a big believer in Jalen Hurts because of his character, because of his talent level. He's going to make sure this team is accountable. But when you go out there, let's say this team ends up 15-2, 16-1. You can't lie to yourself. You thinking, oh, man, we got something here. But in the playoffs, it's a hard reset. It's not, oh, what do you come into this situation with? We saw a perfect team in New England not finish the deal. So I'm looking at these Philadelphia Eagles, and if I were a fan like Morris, I'd be holding my breath like, man, not going to be that easy.
And I agree. Listen, and I'll be the first to say, I agree 100% with Marcellus. You know, you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. We saw a Green Bay team with a Hall of Fame quarterback last year lose their first game to the 49ers in the playoffs. We've seen a Dallas team, you know, put up big numbers throughout the season, and then they lose their first game in the playoffs. The playoffs is a whole different season. And what I'll say is I am holding my breath. What I'm a little encouraged by is our defense. I think that, you know, we have those two corners. We have the two boys. We got big play Saleh, you know, and the other cat and Bradford on the other end, and then that defensive line. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But you know, the playoffs are a whole different ball game for real.
Omar, can the Eagles win with Gardner Minshew?
They can.
Just that name. Why you say that?
What's wrong with his name? What y'all joning on a man's name for? Go ahead.
Listen, the Eagles are built to play playoff football. They can run the ball efficiently. They can protect their quarterback, and they can play hella defense. That's the 49ers blueprint. You can win with any quarterback.
Yes.
If Purdy's out there winning for the San Francisco 49ers, a lot of people think are probably destined for deep run into the playoffs, then the Eagles could absolutely win.
Come on. See, this is what we get. This is where we get into problems. Like Omar said, that's the 49ers blueprint. Absolutely, they can win in the playoffs. What has the 49ers won? Like, yeah, you've been in the Super Bowl. You have been in the Super Bowl. Like, so the blueprint is to get close. Okay, the Eagles gonna get close. Let's build it. That's what you want to build. That's what they're gonna do.
I will say this. In addition to that, see, my concern with that is when we look at, say, for instance, we look at the Chicago game, and I know we struggled early on in the Chicago game, but what concerns me about the Chicago game is they had a bye to prepare for us. You know, I think that helped us struggle because, I mean, they traded away all the stars on defense, and we still kind of struggled early on in that game, and they got some young DBs. It's going to be a whole different season in the playoffs, and we saw that last year. Last year, the Eagles were run the ball on everybody. We got to Tampa Bay in the playoffs, and they put a stop to it. You know, now Jalen has progressed as a pocket passer, and we have added, you know, that weapon on the outside, but playoffs is a whole different season. We just have to. I am holding my breath.
Prince Amukamara, can the Giants make a comeback in the NFC East after beating the Commanders? I was at that game, Sunday Night Football, 20-12. The Giants are currently 8-5-1, third in the NFC East. They started off 6-1 and are 2-4-1 in their last 7, though they did win after your boy Kayvon Thibodeau came up with a big boy dominant win at FedEx Field. Prince, go.
Prime time, Kayvon. Listen, since we're talking Super Bowl, I think that the Eagles are for sure a great team, but I think that a team that is going to win a Super Bowl is going to be a team that's not being talked about. One of those teams that are just catching on a lot of momentum right now, kind of like the Giants team I was on in 2011, 9-7, getting in by the skin of our teeth, and then going 4-0 in the playoffs. And one of those teams are the Giants, I believe. I feel like,
Lord.
What I'm saying is this: I feel like the Giants are one of those just scary teams. Same like Detroit. Detroit is scary. Like those teams have a mindset. Right. Hey, listen. Those teams have the mindset that as long as we just need to get in, once we get in, like you guys said,
they just happy to be there.
Yeah, no. It's a reset. Like once we get in, we're in.
Don't be using Marcellus reset. Marcellus is principle of it. Are the Giants scary, Marcellus? Are you scared of the Daniel Jones Giants? Because Moore's about to lose his hair, and he don't even got none. Go.
Yeah, Prince. Look, Prince, I get it. Like when I go to Chargers games, I still gotta show love, and I'm an ambassador. You're ambassador for the Giants, but don't get up here lying, bro. Like, and I'm a big fan of Daniel Jones. But it hasn't added up yet. But what
they said the same thing about Eli.
But hold on.
They said the same thing about Eli. Come on.
Eli's a man, though. This is Daniel Jones.
What I'm saying, you guys know Eli because of what Eli has done in the playoffs.
Yes.
That's why. That's what makes Eli. Says, we haven't seen Daniel Jones in the playoffs.
So who's Plaxico?
Huh?
Plaxico? Y'all don't have that. What is there to be scared? No, seriously.
I can't hear.
No, you can't hear me now, right? In all seriousness, April Fools was a long time ago. What does someone need to be scared of the Giants?
Brian Daboll, I will admit, is one of the best, innovative, most aggressive coaches. I've been a fan of his since I covered him as offense coordinator.
He is a good offensive line.
I knew he'd be successful.
But I do want to say, go ahead, Morris. Go ahead.
No, what did Omar say? What's there to be scared of?
Brian Daboll. He's an aggressive call. He's an aggressive play caller.
Why are you rolling your eyes, Morris?
Wow.
To answer your question, Morris. To answer your question, Odell is still available. Odell can still sign. All right, that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute. You can't be adding the Odell caveat after you put him in the Super Bowl.
I did not know I was waking up in the Twilight Zone today. They straight up talking about the Giants.
Odell. Hey, look, but I
in all seriousness. In all seriousness.
Yes.
You're going to tell me that the Giants are more dangerous than the Cowboys. The Giants are more dangerous than the 49ers. The Giants going to be more dangerous than the Giants? For real, the Giants.
I'm saying. I think that there's an underrated team that's not being talked about that is going to win. It's not a team that's going to win the Super Bowl like the Chiefs, the Eagles. I just feel like there's a team that's grinding hard right now.
So they're more of a dark horse than the Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
No. I didn't say that. I put them up there with them.
I would prefer you said Detroit with the offense that they have going. I would prefer you said them, but I mean,
I'll piggyback on something that Marcellus said. That the 49ers have gotten to the doorstep. He's gotten to the Super Bowl, and we're at the doorstep of the Super Bowl last year. What held them back was quarterback play, which is why they made that change. I think with defense and a run game, you can get yourself deep into the postseason, but you need that quarterback to get you to that Super Bowl. Right. You need, and I don't see that. I don't see that with the Giants. I'm sorry. I just don't see that with the Giants.
Well, here's what I would say about the Giants, though. At least they had their full complement of players on the defensive line. You see what can happen when Kayvon Thibodeau is in there, with Dexter Lawrence is in there, with Azeez Ojulari. Leonard Williams came back after having that neck injury. So, and also we talk about Kayvon Thibodeau and how he performs in prime time and all that other stuff. So I don't know if I'm going as far as saying Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm doing that, Prince.
Wow.
I do respect him. Go ahead.
Did Strahan unretire? Did I miss something? Did I miss something? They're talking about the Giants. Wow.
Okay.
It's a wild take. That's not who I'm talking about.
Listen, I appreciate your courage. I do.
I would have respected if he would have said the Chargers, like the Giants.
Oh, there we go.
The Giants.
Okay. All right. Well, hold on now. Let's talk about these Jets, because the other team in New York right now struggling a little bit after they brought back in Zach Wilson. They did lose to the Detroit Lions, who are surging. Prince Amukmara winning 6 of their last 7. They did lose to Detroit 20-17. There was some talk about how head coach Robert Saleh managed the last 2 minutes going into it with all 3 timeouts. Marcellus, what do you think about the Jets? And the Jets? I live in here. They're always crying. They want to jump on Robert Saleh. They're bringing up the receipts comments again. I think that this is one of their best coaches in a long time, with all due respect to what Todd Bowles did in his first year being 10-6 there. Your thoughts on the Jets right now?
I think Coach Saleh mismanaged this team's psyche, and I think that's why they're in this rut right now. They were a great story early in the season, and we could see their talent level is there. But in football, you only eat what you kill. So you got to always have that killer's mindset. And I think when a coach comes out, first thing he says is we keeping receipts like we've achieved something, like we've accomplished something. Everybody keeping receipts. Everybody trying to kill what they eat, right? So then you all of a sudden realize, oh, this game is fickle. Now your quarterback play is suspect. You got to bench your quarterback. You bring back your backup. Then he gets hurt. Now you don't know which way is up, and you've lost your way in dual leadership, not only from the sidelines, but from the most important position, the quarterback position. That's why Bill Belichick created dynasties, because Bill Belichick, no matter how good or how bad it was, he knew to stay and say even kill things. And these other coaches, they feeling themselves. And you got to remember, you got 53 dudes behind you who love the game, but don't like how it feels. It hurts. And you got to motivate me to run through them walls. And when coach thinking like, oh, it ain't that hard. Oh, we good. Oh, these cats now, look at them. They got to check for us.
Marcellus.
The
Jets. Wait. Hold on. Let me just interject this. The Jets went 6-2 after that receipts comment. Okay, first of all, he had to switch over to Mike White. I think he handled that beautifully as far as and have you seen the way these guys have talked about even though they're 1-2 with Mike White before he got hurt in Buffalo with the fractured ribs, they love that dude. Okay, I just wanted to say that. But go ahead, MC. Go ahead.
No, that was my question because it did feel like to me they were losing when he made the receipt comment. Of course I never played in the NFL. Game. I'm gonna refer to our vets there. It seems like to me they rallied behind that comment. Yes. He went publicly and showed support for his team and showed belief in his team. So, Marcellus, you saying that you don't think that had an effect in the locker room and the confidence in the players or anything at all?
No, I think that when your coach does that, it's bravado and you like, yeah, I mean, it could get you emotionally charged, but then it's going to subside and then you got to do all the little things. And to do it big in the league, you got to do the little things. And one thing you can't go out there is expect that it's going to come to you any easier any other week. So I think when he made those comments, the record shows that, okay, we are behind coach. We're 6-2, as you say. Great. But now the ceiling is lower. Like now, who is the quarterback? Now you try to protect Zach Wilson, talk about, oh, y'all just too tough on the kid. He could be a good quarterback if you beat him up. Well, coach, you got to
keep him confident. He can't just, completely build. And first of all, they switched from Zach Wilson to Mike White after they lost to the Patriots 10-3, and then he didn't take accountability. That was the exact right move. He was doing a master class in terms of crisis management with his quarterbacks. And then Mike White went on to beat the Bears 31-10. They lost 2 after that against the Vikings and the Bills. But I don't think anybody at that point was calling for Zach Wilson. And not only did he not make him QB2, he deactivated his behind, which was the right call. And then Joe Flacco embarrassed him when he came in, and fumbled right after Mike White got hurt. And that's why Zach Wilson went up to QB2 and back to QB1 now with Mike.
I think the bottom line is, it looks to me the last 3 games they played at least 2 for sure playoff teams. One team people are talking about in Buffalo is going to be could be a Super Bowl contender. Minnesota is running away with their division. They lost to them, and they lost to a red hot Detroit team. And they got at this point, it seems like both of them are backup quarterbacks. If you're talking about Zach or you're talking about the kid White, so it feels like he has them trending in the right direction. They played 3 tough teams to where I wouldn't put my money on the Jets beating any of those squads.
But Marcellus, so if you
hey, let me say this. You know what I would put on it? What? Every time I see that dude, he in a different color Ferrari. What color? You got a different color Ferrari?
We calling out Ferrari?
I would put that dude's Ferrari on the game, but I wasn't gonna put my money on it.
Hey, that's before all these damn kids took all my Ferrari. Now I got tricycles, man.
Stop. Oh, don't come on here with that Nick Cannon excuse. Okay. Hey, listen, but if you are the head coach of the Jets, Marcellus, since you're talking about Robert Saleh, what should he do with the quarterback position? Really quickly, 2023. Are you sticking with Mike White? Are you going into free agency? Are you shopping with the Jimmy G, a Taylor Heineke? Daniel Jones will also be unrestricted. Baker's out there, but there ain't too much choices unless Aaron Rodgers decides to leave Green Bay.
I mean, look, if you mention Baker Mayfield, you know what I'm doing. I'm turning around and saying, Mike White, we got to roll. I mean, I'm as faithful as my options. And right now, I don't like my option of Mike White. I don't like my option of Zach Wilson. But I like them more than what's out there in terms of bringing them in and really trying to rally around them. So it's a situation where all I'm saying is I don't think this is going to end well for the Jets as of late. You can see some of the sputtering, and that's how the game goes. We're talking about a marathon. So you could come in with these nitrous comments on mile 13, and then I could take off running. And then a veteran going to be like, where this fool going? He ain't going nowhere. This is a marathon. And watch how this ends for these Jets and going into the offseason. It's going to be problematic. We got to figure out how to stabilize it.
Oh, really quickly. Hold on. Go ahead. Go ahead, Prince, real quick.
I was going to say, I agree with Marcel. Bulletin board material can only go so far. And the media was giving it to them, and some teams were. But then after that, like, there has to be something else that can continually motivate us players.
I think Robert Saleh is still in it for Coach of the Year, especially if he can win out the last 3. I don't think we should be down on him just because of the last 3 timeout situation and losing as of late, especially with that quarterback carousel. Quickly, we're going to jump to Crew Huddle and talk about that viral video on Gio Bernard quick. All right, Kevin Durant says the media are spoiled after he saw that viral video. Gio Bernard talking to the media in Tampa after they lost to the Bengals 34-23. Bernard was part of a huge momentum swinging play, and the Bucs lost to the Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday. Obviously, he didn't know that they were trying to dial up a fake punt. I don't know if you saw that video, guys, with the media confronting him, especially saying some things like, "Listen, we haven't been able to talk to you because you were injured. What have you done for us to be talking to you?" Now, Greg Augman apologized for that, or said he would apologize. Jenna put the video up on social. It's got like 7 million views right now. Omar, anybody, what y'all got to say about this?
I mean, as a media member, I've been in those situations where players who are part of a controversial decision or call or made an error, they don't want to talk after the games and they don't want to be held accountable. It comes with your paycheck. You're required to talk to the media 2 times a week, once during the week and once after the game. Make it happen.
Did anyone else have a problem with this?
I got a problem with the media in this one.
Wow.
Look, it's a two-way street, and that's why they call it media relations, because you got to have a relationship with the players. And when you're especially a beat writer, you're there all the time through high and through lows, right? And you can't come to a guy and start to pick your spots when you want that guy to be available, because that guy's going to lean on the relationship. Where the media goes wrong, and why Kevin Durant's probably right, they're spoiled, is because they know they have the last word, and then they can hide behind the obligation of you doing it. But if you don't treat me right, then I'm not going to be obligated to do anything. And it has to come from a higher source than just you. And you can hear it in every one of their voices. They start getting high pitched. Well, you wasn't available. Well, you wasn't around. And like, that lets you know them hit dogs were hollering, because he was basically saying, I walked past y'all for weeks. Y'all couldn't even give me a what's up. Now I mess up. Y'all want to throw the mics in my face. Balance it off. Have a relationship.
And not only that, the Bengals was his former team, so that's probably why they wanted to get him on camera. But then at that point, Gio can do it 2 ways. He can not be politically correct and do what he did, or you could just go the Marshawn route. You can just get like, hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Like, he can just say whatever.
And the cameras are rolling, so you got to be careful. But I think right now he's getting lauded for his reaction. Go ahead, Morris, real quick. Go.
I'm sorry, I gotta straddle the fence on this one, right? God. Because when you really, I do. I mean, listen, there's a time and a place. I agree with that, but you're looking at 2 different professions. You got an athlete who's emotional and things didn't go the way he wanted to, so he's gonna get emotional about it, but he has, that's his job, it's his livelihood. To highlight something that he did could, I don't know if it's gonna cost him his job, but it could affect it. And then you have the media, who their job is to get the story, and they want the But
it's tone. I think a lot of people didn't appreciate the tone. They felt like it sounded entitled, although I understand getting the story. But go ahead.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's a little bit on both, because listen, we all know when you're an athlete, you know that you're going to get asked some questions. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so sometimes it's hard to check yourself. I got to do my interviews sometimes if I'm not feeling right or I want to say something to somebody. But I think both sides can be a little bit more respectful.
So if I'm on a red carpet asking you a question, Morris, you going to answer my questions? All my questions?
Well, you're going to call me a hater, Joe. You're going to call me a hater, Joe. I'm just an Eagle fan, Josina. I don't hate Baker Mayfield. I just call it like I see it.
Oh, whatever. Hey, listen, I want y'all to say thank you to Marcellus Wiley for coming into the crew, Chris.
Appreciate that dude, man. Appreciate that dude. I think I seen a red one. I think I seen an orange one, a black one. I don't know. Maybe it was purple.
Wow.
I see Marcellus had a Ferrari for every day of the week.
You got someone that holds your umbrella, that dude? Probably not.
Hey, no matter what I got, all Morris got to do is walk down the street. He's still getting more love. So these
okay. Well, it is.
Hey, hold on real quick. Hey, was that custom? How you fitting that? How you fitting that Ferrari, man? Was it custom?
No lie, dog. When I bought it, the Lakers at the time, I think it was like Kobe and them back in the days. I was like, they all have Ferraris. And I was like, why y'all got Ferraris? They said, because they long on the inside. And none of them had Lamborghini. So I can't fit in the Lamborghini. Jumped in the Ferrari. And I was like, damn, they for the big dog. So
okay. I was like, man, I said I had to be custom for this dog. Okay.
Standard issue.
Hey, Marcellus, look into the camera and tell us your name and say you're watching the crew.
Marcellus Wiley. That dude, y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all watching the crew. Wow.
We appreciate you. Thanks, Marcellus. All right, love. We'll talk to you in a bit. All right, love. Okay, last segment here. We're rolling on the crew life, and then we are going to be out. All right. So it is Christmas. Tis the season to be jolly. So I want to know really quickly either what y'all getting me for Christmas or what y'all are thankful for. Morris, go.
Well, honestly, I'll still have to decide what I'm gonna get for you, Josina. I gotta get you something to cure your haterade. You always hate on my Eagles. I gotta get you a cure. I gotta get you some type of prescription to cure that.
Listen, I take all my gifts with 4 wheels. You know, they could come with diamonds. You know what I'm saying? And anything like that is always good.
Amazon, you can only insure Amazon to a certain amount. So your diamonds, I would send it to you, Josina, but it probably wouldn't be insured.
Yes, because you're gonna be riding around like a Flintstone. Go ahead.
Around this time, and I think what does get lost, in all seriousness, around this time, is really about health. Health, physical health, particularly mental health, and it's a lot of times that around the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, people start really reflecting on whatever their issues may be or what their perceived issues may be. So I just hope and pray that everyone stays mentally healthy and physically healthy, and we just get into the next year.
Well, I will say 2 things I'm thankful for. One, I am looking forward to your show popping up on Peacock on December 22nd, The Best Man final chapter. So I will watch that. And at the same time, I'm also a big fan of Jack Ryan, which will debut December 21st. I'm gonna be watching both of y'all shows. I'm thankful for that. But no, I'm thankful for my family, for my dog, and all of that other stuff. And we do want to extend our heartfelt, prayers to the family of Stephen Twitch Boss. Going through a hard time. Prince, go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think just along with you, super thankful for family, and then I have 3 new beings.
How many kids
coming.
you have? Okay.
I have three more beings coming. 3 more beings coming.
Wait, what?
3?
Yeah.
3?
Go on, Omar. Go on, Omar.
Go on. Wait,
Omar.
you having triplets? Are you having triplets?
Go on, Omar.
Is he having like dogs? Like what is going on here?
Go on, Omar.
Is this Nick Cannon breaking news? What's going on? What you thankful for? Go ahead. What you thankful for? 3 what?
Go on. I said beings. Beings.
Okay.
BEINGS.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, congratulations, dog. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you,
man.
Oh,
so okay. All right. Okay.
That's amazing.
Omar, I think Omar's speechless.
I am super thankful for my beings in this world. My 19-month-old daughter who's developing a personality, tearing up the house on a daily basis. But her spirit is just, it's so encouraging to both me and my daughter because nothing bothers her. She's so pleasant even when she's sick. And for my family, because what we've been through in this past 2 years or 3 years with COVID, and it's a COVID strand out there right now getting people. Yes. And to have my family, both my parents still healthy and still with me, because I've got friends who they've lost their family. I've got people in my life who died this year.
Yeah. And
health, you can't take it for granted. Health and family.
Morris, do you have a final prediction on your Eagles Cowboys game before we get out? An honest one.
Honest one. I think the game, even if Gardner Minshew plays, I think the game is going to be closer than people think. Because and I said this before. So I think one of the things with the Cowboys, when they had the backup quarterback in, they were playing. He was playing by the numbers. He wasn't taking a lot of risk. He was just running the system. And I think the defense stepped up. I'm hoping our defense steps up, plays a little bit above their head, and Gardner Minshew plays by the numbers and just doesn't take too many risks. I think we'll be in the game.
Morris, have you seen Gardner play?
Yeah, I've seen him play. Yeah,
he's very Baker Mayfield-ish.
He is.
I think so.
What's that now? You said what?
Very Baker. Oh, sorry, you talking to Omar?
No. Go ahead.
I just said he's very Baker Mayfield-ish.
Yes. Yeah, he can win a game. He can win a game.
He can lose a game too.
He can lose a game too.
Of course.
Hold on. I want to ask you, Morris. You are one win away from clinching the NFC #1 seed.
Yes.
Do you play Jalen Hurts this Sunday to try to get that win, or do you rest him to try to see if he can make it through the playoffs with the shoulder injury?
I rest him 1,000,000%. I rest him because, listen, the one thing Dallas does have, I believe they're second in the league in sacks, and I don't want to risk any more type of injuries to Jalen. I'll rest him this game. And listen, the Saints defense is tough too. I would probably rest him into that last game of the season at home against the Giants.
Okay, well,
if we needed it.
Yep, and last breaking news, Robert Saleh just announced that Mike White will not be cleared for contact, and so Zach Wilson will get the start. But on that note, guys, we appreciate you joining the crew from Marcellus Wiley, Omar, Kelly, Prince, Amukmara, Mark Chestnut. Yes. And watch The Best Man, the final chapters, Peacock, December 22nd. We appreciate y'all. Bye.